Hello everyone, welcome back to PackToSleeve. We are on our another box of Ikoria Lair the Behemoths. As we've done in previous videos, we're going to be focusing on the rares, the mythics, the showcase, the foils, and of course the box topper. Alright. So let's dive in. Oop, there we go, there's our box topper. Alright, looks like these might be another of the boxes that is printed in Japan, which means the rare, or the order is backwards of normal. Alright, but let's go ahead and dive in and see how we do. They also have the nice little pull tabs there. Alright, and our first rare is, already starting off with a Triome, the Adatha Triome, which is the Abzan one. Always love to see that. A couple good uncommons there as we look through to see if we have any of the showcase cards. Looking for, in particular with the Triomes, we're looking for the showcase versions or the Teamer one. And here we have our first mythic. We've got Riel, the Everwise, for 1 blue and 1 red for an 0/3 legendary creature human wizard. Riel, the Everwise, gets +1/+0 for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard, and whenever you discard one or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. Alright. First mythic of the box already. Good start. Mythic and a Triome. And we've got our first foil, which is Heightened Reflexes and Offspring's Revenge. The Mardu enchantment. So for 2, 1 red, 1 white, 1 black, for an enchantment at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard and create a token that is a copy of that card, except that it is a 1/1. It gains haste until the end of your next turn. Bastion of Remembrance and Barrier Breach, couple playables there, which is good. And there we go, our first companion card, Yorion the Sky Nomad, for 3 and 2 hybrid white-blue for a 4/5 legendary creature Bird Serpent. As a companion, your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. It has flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control, and return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Yorion is probably one of the best companions at the moment, up there with Lurrus in multiple formats. Of course, you also see Obosh and Zidra seeing some play. Oh, there we go. Foil Footfall Crater sees play in the cycling deck. And we got a Lurrus. Speaking of the other really good companion, Lurrus of the Dream Den for 1 and 2 hybrid white-black for a 3/2 legendary creature Cat Nightmare. Companion, each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. Lurrus' lifelink, and on each of your turns you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Alright. Huntmaster Liger for a showcase card. It's been a good opening few packs to the box. And Extinction Event. For 3 and 1 black, for a sorcery, choose odd or even, exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. Alright. Moving right along. And we got another foil Triome here, the Rogren Triome, the Jeskai one. Fantastic. And the Everquill Phoenix for 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 creature Phoenix. With flying, whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with pay 1 and sacrifice Feather to return target Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and you can mutate it for 3 and 1 red. Alright. And we got a Cloud Piercer showcase card there. And we got Slitherwisp for 1 blue and 2 black for a 3/2 creature elemental nightmare with flash. Whenever you cast another spell with flash, you can draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life. Flourishing Fox. It's a really good uncommon. Always like to see those for building that cycling deck. And we got another companion, Karuga, the Macro Sage, for 3 and 2 hybrid blue-green for a 5/4 legendary creature, Dinosaur Hippo. Companion, your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. When Karuga, the Macro Sage, enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Fire Prophecy there. Card selection with a red burn spell. That's always interesting. And we got Kogla, the Titan Ape, for 3 and 3 green for a 7/6 legendary ape. When Kogla enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And whenever Kogla attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. And for 1 and a green, you can return target human you control to its owner's hand, and Kogla gains indestructible until the end of the next turn. Sorry, end of turn. Yeah, that'd be a bit crazy if it had. Alright, Unpredictable Cyclone. For 3 and 2 red for an enchantment. If a cycling ability of another non-land card causes you to draw a card, instead exile cards from the top of your library until exiling a card that shares a card type with the cycled card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order, and you can cycle the Cyclone for 2. Footfall Crater and Dire Tactics. The Scorpion there sees play in the Sacrifice decks. They've gone down in popularity a bit as Luca decks are all over the place right now. A Foil Mountain and the Crystalline Giant. For 3 mana for a 3/3 artifact creature giant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random the Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it from among Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance, and +1/+1, and put a counter type on the Crystalline Giant. A couple solid playables in there with Essence Scatter and is it Dawn of Hope? And we got a Fiend Artisan as our mythic. So for 2 hybrid black-green for a 1/1 Nightmare, Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. And you can spend X and 1 hybrid green-black and tap it to sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. And then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only at any time you can cast a sorcery. Alright. Getting pretty good at pulling the Fiend Artisans, huh? And Greater Sandworm Foil. And a Luca. Alright. Planeswalker. 3 and 2 red for a 5 loyalty Luca Planeswalker. +1, exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled that way gained, you may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luca Planeswalker. -2, exile target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. And -7, each creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Alright, fantastic. Really good hits so far. These boxes have been pretty kind to me so far. Just makes for more exciting openings. Alright, we got a foil glowstone recluse and a Kahira the Orphan Guard. Is for 1 and 2 hybrid green-white for a 3/2 legendary creature cat beast. Companion, each creature in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast. Has vigilance, and each other creature you control that is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. And a Lord Dracus showcase card. Serrated Scorpion there. And a Quartz Beast Crasher for 3, 2 red and 1 green for a 6/6 dinosaur beast with trample. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with trample deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to the player. Migration Path, fight with 1. Cavern Whisperer showcase card. How has this set impacted Commander? What are some of the good Commander pools? Leave a note in the comments, let me know. Alright, Ketria Triome, which is the Teamer one. Alright. I think I just need one more of those now to complete my playset. That is the one I've had the most trouble pulling. And a foiled Death's Oasis, which is the Abzan one. It is for 1 white, black, and green for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a creature with lesser converted mana cost than that creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. And you can spend 1 and sacrifice Death's Oasis. You gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control. And the Shark's Typhoon. For 5 and 1 blue, for an enchantment, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. You can also cycle it for X 1 and 1 blue, and when you cycle Shark Typhoon, create a XX blue shark creature token with flying. I think that's probably the most common way I've seen that card played, is cycle it, because it allows you to get around Little Teferi. Since you're not casting something, you're just cycling it, you get a way to kill that Teferi. And Labyrinth Venturer for 2 and 1 white for a 3/3 human soldier. As it enters the battlefield, choose odd or even. Labyrinth Venturer has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value. Alright. See if we have any of the showcase cards in that one. And we got Whirlwind of Thought. For 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 white for an enchantment, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Sure, Jeskai decks always love drawing cards, especially like a Jeskai control deck. See that having some value, maybe some Jeskai decks in Commander. And another Death's Oasis. Alright, Sanctuary Lockdown, Necropanther, and a showcase Vulpikeet. Foil Boot Nipper, and a showcase Brokos, Apex of Forever. There's a lot going on in that picture. But for 2, 1 black, 1 green, and 1 blue, for a 6/6 legendary creature, Nightmare Beast Elemental, with trample, you may cast Brokos, Apex of Forever from your graveyard using its mutate ability. And you can mutate it for 2, 1 hybrid blue-black, and 2 green. For another mythic. Alright. I think the only one I haven't really pulled that much is, I think once again it's the Teamer Apex. And Mythos of Vadrok. For 2 and 2 red, for a sorcery, it deals 5 damage, divided as you choose among any number of target creatures or planeswalkers. And if you blue and white were spent to cast a spell until your next turn, those permanents can't attack, block, and their activated abilities can't be activated. Majestic Aracorn. And last pack of that center column there. And Colossification. For 5 and 2 green for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When it enters a battlefield, tap the enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +20/+20. Alright, last third of the box. Little cat bird token there. And Mythos of Snapdax for 2 and 2 white. Each player chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, and planeswalker among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. If black and red was spent to cast a spell, you choose permanents for each player instead. Probably pretty good in Commander where you're able to hit a bunch of people at once. But then being able to choose is a downside, so probably really good if you're actually playing Mardu. Alright, moving right along. Gemraiser. Alright, for 1 green and 3 for a 4/4 beast with reach and trample. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls, and you can mutate it for 1 and 2 green. Day Squad Marshal foil, and the Inspired Ultimatum. For 2 blue, 3 red, and 2 white for a sorcery, target player gains 5 life. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5 damage to any target, and then you draw 5 cards. And a Porky Parrot Showcase card. And another companion, Lutri the Spell Chaser, for 1 and 2 hybrid blue-red for a 3/2 elemental otter legendary creature with companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. Lutri has Flash, and when he enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery you control. You may then choose new targets for the copy. Valiant Rescuer, really good in that cycling deck as your token creator. Gives you the ability to go wide, and if they go big strategy doesn't work with the foxes. And another mythic, it is another General Kudro of Draneth. For 1 white, and 1 black for a 3/3 legendary creature human soldier. Other humans you control get +1/+1. Whenever a General Kudro or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. And you can spend 2 and sacrifice 2 humans to destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Fantastic. Another Heartless Act. All right. Another good black removal spell. And we got a Song of Creation for 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red for an enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, and whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So lots of interesting stuff going on with that card. A Hornbash Mentor, and a Sea Dasher Octopus Showcase card. Alright, so for 1 and 2 blue for a 2/2 Octopus with Flash, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And you can mutate it for 1 and 1 blue and Flash in the mutate ability. Alright, Migratory Greathorn Showcase card. And the Ozolith. For 1 mana, you get a legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. Insatiable Hammerphage Showcase card. Alright. We got 4 more packs to go. We can end with another Triome or something like that here. Hunted Nightmare for 1 and 2 black for a 4/5 creature nightmare with Menace. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. And a Titan's Nest. For 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue. At the beginning of upkeep, the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard, and you can exile a card from your graveyard to create a colorless mana and spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without Xing its mana cost. Say if you could cast X spells, that probably could see some play with Walking Ballista or Hangerback Walker. In older formats, a Foil Plains, and a Garuda, Doom of the Depths. This might actually be the first Garuda I've opened. So for 4 and 2 hybrid blue-black for a 6/6 legendary creature, Demon Kraken Companion, your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana costs. When he enters a battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of the library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. And a Parcel Beast Showcase card. Alright. Yeah, so Garuda for me has been probably the rarest of the companions, because it took me multiple boxes in order to hit my first one. Foil Escape Protocol, and we conclude with a Mythic, a Nethroi, Apex of Death. For 2, 1 white, 1 black, 1 green for a 5/5 legendary creature, Cat Nightmare Beast, with Death Touch and Lifelink. When this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And you can mutate it for 4, 1 hybrid, green, white, and 2 black. Alright, Flourishing Fox. Alright, and for our box topper, let's see how we wrap up our box here. Alright, there we go. There's the Space Godzilla Death Corona. One that only appears in the first print run, so we got one, which is pretty sweet. Alright. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would love to have you hit the subscribe button and thumbs up to let us know how we're doing. But it looks like I am all tapped out for now. Have a great day.